video tutorial will show you how to use slots to connect two pieces of paper. In the rest of these tutorials, I've been using floppy drawing paper, just computer paper, and you can definitely use the slot technique with this paper, but it works a little bit better with paper that's slightly thicker. So I'm gonna start with a thicker construction paper, and then I'll go back and show you some slots with the floppy paper. So as you can see, I've got some scrap paper here, not anything that's fancy because I am gonna be cutting it up. And you know me, I like to save my construction paper for collage and I wanna use every bit. So I've already got this shape cut out of mine and that's because I'm using scrap paper. I'm just gonna cut off a piece for myself that I can use to show the slot technique. So I'm going to start with two rectangles, and they're pretty much the same size. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line in the middle of it, going about halfway down, and then I'm going to come over here about halfway, and then I'm going to cut that little piece. Just a little snip exactly on my line. Now that I have this cut, and it looks kind of like a little pair of pants, you're going to be able to take those two pieces and slide them into each other. Okay, and right now it's kind of flat, but then I can take it and open it up and it makes kind of a letter X. And so what I can see right now is that both sides, this one, it doesn't come all the way up, and this side, it's a little bit longer, so it's not super even, but if I don't want to have my piece like this, it's not a problem. I could put it this way and it stands up on its own. If I want it to be exactly even, I just need to cut one of those slots a little bit deeper so that they can go all the way down and be even, but it doesn't necessarily have to be even. All right, look at that. Now it's perfectly flat on that side and perfectly flat on that side, and it can also stand up this way. So that's the slot technique. You're basically taking your paper and cutting a little slot, a little snip on two pieces and then connecting them. And this example was done with rectangles, but you can use that technique with anything. Let's test it out. So I've got this scrap paper right here. Right? And I've got one of my loops, one of my rolls from the other video. I can connect these two pieces with a slot too by coming over
and someone available to come exchange a Chromebook
and cutting a little snip here and cutting a little snip here and then connect them. So these look very different, but the technique is the same. Giving yourself a little cut line to stick the paper into. And look, that's not even glued or anything, and I can move it around and it doesn't fall out. Let's try another one. I'm gonna get myself a piece of this floppy paper. If I want to connect with slots, all I have to do is cut a little slot, and it doesn't have to be square shape. Let's say I wanted to connect a triangle shape. I could even connect it to this piece I've already built. I've got one little slot here. I just need to cut another slot on this piece, and then I can connect them. So what it looks like doesn't really matter. Any shape that you want to connect, you just have to cut that little snip, the slot first, and then you can slide the pieces together and start to build and attach where they lock together. So I could even take the pieces I've got now and keep connecting them by giving myself little snips to create the slot. I've got one here, and I've got one here. It's getting heavy, so it's falling over. And then I can take them and wiggle those two together, slide it down so that it locks. And I'm starting to connect lots of different pieces now that don't fall apart when I lift it, which is pretty cool because it allows me to build things without using glue. And then I can pick how I want it to be arranged. And I'm gonna change my angle here. That way it kind of starts to look like, I don't know, like a dinosaur or something. It's very different looking depending on what angle I look at it from. So that is the slot technique.